Lewis Hamilton's emotional outburst at Monza rocked Ferrari to its core, sparking major drama that could no longer be hidden from the public. In front of thousands of fans, the world champion's anger was a crushing blow to Fred Vasseur, who was left facing the bitter reality after the race. This heated situation raised a big question in the paddock. Is this the beginning of a major crisis for Ferrari and Hamilton? Let's discuss it. The Monza circuit witnessed Ferrari's failure to deliver a positive result on home turf. Lewis Hamilton, now wearing the red jersey of a 7-time world champion, could only manage a 6th-place finish. While this result looked decent on paper, it conveyed a strong and worrying message for Ferrari. Hamilton started the race in 10th place due to a 5-place grid penalty, carrying a heavy burden from the start. However, his performance in the early laps demonstrated a relentless spirit. He successfully passed Yuki Tsunoda, Fernando Alonso, and rookie Bortolato in just the first 7 laps, finishing right behind his former teammate and current main rival, George Russell. Strategy should have been decisive, as if to ignite hope, but this is where Ferrari made another crucial mistake. Russell pitted on lap 27 while Hamilton was allowed to stay out for an additional 11 laps, hoping for a tyre miracle. Unfortunately, it never happened. Hamilton exited the pits in an even worse position, stuck behind Esteban Ocon and Lance Stroll. The 5-second window that could have allowed him to pass, Russell disappeared. In his post-race interview, Hamilton made no secret of his disappointment. "I thought we could finish 5th or even 4th. I had a good start, even though I was sandwiched between 2 cars. Overall, though, I positioned the car well. Unfortunately, we missed the undercut opportunity. I was only 1.5 seconds behind George, but we didn't try. After that, the gap grew." The sentence was short, but it carried a lot of meaning. It wasn't just an excuse. It was a harsh reality from a 7-time world champion. Hamilton clearly demonstrated that Ferrari had great potential on the track, but was once again caught in strategic indecision. His words sounded like an early warning to the team. The speed and opportunities are there, but when decisions aren't made decisively, all the hard work is wasted. In comparison, Ferrari's main rivals made bold moves. For example, Mercedes didn't hesitate to bring Russell in early to secure a position, and McLaren gambled with an aggressive strategy that kept Norris in contention for a podium finish. This contrast made Hamilton's criticism even more poignant. Ferrari had all the capital, but lacked decisiveness in taking risks. After the disappointing result at the Monza GP, Ferrari boss Fred Vasseur finally spoke candidly. He admitted that the team took a huge risk by extending Hamilton's first stint. They had hoped to capitalise on the tyre advantage at the end of the race. However, the reality on the track was different. The tyre degradation was too low. "If I had to do it all over again, I would have brought Lewis in earlier," Vasseur said, seemingly acknowledging a wasted opportunity. Nevertheless, Vasseur tried to emphasise the positives. He highlighted the incredible energy emanating from the thousands of fans who packed the stands at Monza throughout the weekend. This mental boost enabled Hamilton to fight until the final lap. "The passion of the fans was truly incredible, and it fueled the team," he added. But for the fans, it still wasn't enough. Monza wasn't just another race. It was a cathedral of speed and Ferrari's holy land. There, victory felt infinitely more precious and failure twice as painful. Meanwhile, on the other side of the garage, Charles Leclerc had given the fans a glimmer of hope. After a nearly flawless qualifying lap, he started in 4th place, and the Monza crowd believed that this was Ferrari's chance to challenge for the podium. However, the reality on race day was different. Leclerc displayed his trademark aggressiveness by overtaking Oscar Piastri twice. Unfortunately, the lead was short-lived. Within a few laps, Piastri had retaken the position, leaving Leclerc unable to respond. The Ferrari SF25 once again displayed the paradox that has lingered since the beginning of the season. It is incredibly fast on the straights, but fragile when entering corners. The tyres reached peak temperature too quickly, causing a drastic loss of grip. Leclerc struggled to keep his car competitive. This made him an easy target for rivals with more balanced cars. Oscar Piastri bluntly assessed this weakness. Ferrari is fast on the straights, but their cornering speed isn't enough, he said without hesitation. It was a bitter assessment, but hard to argue with because it was precisely the reality Ferrari presented to its fans. Behind this disappointing result are two sides of Lewis Hamilton. On the one hand, he openly admitted that he doesn't feel fully attuned to the Ferrari car, the performance of which remains a mystery. On the other hand, he emphasised that the Monza weekend boosted his confidence and marked a turning point. The overwhelming support from the sea of tifosi filling the stands and waving red flags at every corner of the circuit gave him a renewed sense of excitement that's hard to put into words. I'm incredibly honoured to be racing for Ferrari. Thank you all. I'm not yet completely comfortable, but I feel I'm making progress. I'm back in the fight, Hamilton said, flashing a smile that raised more questions than answers. His smile wasn't a sign of resignation, but rather a sign that he was working on something behind the scenes, a plan, a strategy. However, behind all the optimism, Hamilton fully understood the harsh reality he was facing. Ferrari was far from consistent. The car looked fast in qualifying but faltered during the long race. Their strategies often sounded bold but were often misguided. The two drivers performed at different paces, making it difficult to unite their forces under one vision. More crucially, Ferrari still hadn't provided Hamilton with an engine capable of propelling him to the front and challenging the top team's dominance. Fred Vasseur attempted to quell the wave of criticism by claiming the difference in Ferrari's performance was minimal between high and low downforce settings. However, Hamilton knows better than anyone that in Formula One, a mere tenth of a second can separate a glorious podium finish from a disappointing, mediocre result. He realises that if Ferrari doesn't improve soon, their dream of building a glorious dynasty could be dashed before it even begins. Hamilton's post-race statement sounded mild, but actually contained a sharp ultimatum. If Charles and I could work together, we might be able to keep up with the guys at the front. But that's not enough, he said simply. Not enough is the key. Hamilton wasn't making excuses nor hiding behind team strategy. He was setting a clear standard. Ferrari must be more than just competitive. He wasn't there to count small points or settle for sixth place. Hamilton is here in Maranello for something bigger. Legacy, glory, and the final chapter of his career, which he hopes will be written in gold. His words remind us that time is ticking, and that the opportunity to make history won't come twice. Can Ferrari provide Hamilton with a championship car before he runs out of patience? Can Hamilton bounce back? Share your thoughts below and don't forget to subscribe.